Well, years ago, with the Cavs again, and Michael Jordan, we had the shot, and now we've got the block, the shot, and the stop. This past week, Johnny Manziel's father was in the news. Johnny Manziel is that #1 draft choice of the Browns and has all kinds of difficulties and struggles going on in his life. And last week in a gospel lesson, we heard the story of a young man who was possessed with demons and didn't have a name. When Jesus asked for the man's name, he said, "My name is Legion, for I am many." He had many demons and many spirits possessing his life and taking over his life, holding him captive. And we also heard another story of a father who came to Jesus and said, "Jesus, look after my son. I've lost him. He's possessed by a demon. The demon takes over his life. He screams, convulses, and scarcely ever leaves him and is destroying my son. And I came to your disciples looking for help, begging for somebody to do something, and they could do nothing." When I heard Johnny Manziel's father talk this week, it reminded me of that story. His dad said, "We've tried and tried years ago with rehab. It's just one horrible, horrible, horrible story. And two things are going to happen. Two things may happen. One, I'm going to get a call, and I'm going to have to bury my son. Or I'm going to get a call and say, my son is in rehab, and he set his face on healing. One of those things is going to happen." And Jesus rebuked, in our story last week, Jesus rebuked the spirit, and he no longer was held captive, and he was set free from that demon. And then Luke says he gave him back to his father. And we also heard where Jesus and Luke puts forth his agenda and saying, "I have come to preach good news to the poor, to heal the brokenhearted, to release the captive, recovery of sight for the blind, to release the oppressed, and proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Maybe someday we'll hear the story of Johnny Manziel being given back to his father. That was in chapter 8. And now we come to chapter 9 of Luke's Gospel, and we hear some more stories about this Jesus, this healer. Let us stand as we sing hallelujah and hear the gospel reading.